Yeah, I found stuff. Welcome back, friendly ghost friendlies and non-friendlies. How's everybody doing? We're back with Asuka 120% final burning fest. I've been in the lab for the past week or so learning this game, and I found a lot of interesting and important things to know, worth of knowledge. Let me hit y'all with that real quick and concise. Start off from the top. Let's talk about the combo structure of this game, juggling. Juggling works in this game. You have 10 juggle points, and their juggle points are counted with your rush counter. It's not the combo counter, it's your rush counter, because they don't necessarily have to be a combo. It's hits within a timely manner. That rush counter that appears on screen is also your juggle counter. You have up to 10 before the combo falls out. Now think of it like a timer in your juggles, because once you pass about 7 rush juggle points, whatever, think of it like a timer that gets quicker. So the 8th hit of the rush, the timer gets quicker, and you have a shorter amount of time to actually get that juggle point before it makes them immune. The 9th hit and a 10th hit, they get even quicker. So even though they're still airborne, you can still technically should be able to touch them. Think of it like an invisible timer that you have to actually get these hits to connect, especially once you get to the 8th hits, the 9th hits, and 10th hits. So you have to kind of space your combos, your juggles, their airborne ability or whatever the hell. So that's something to keep in mind. 10 juggle points, rush points, but keep these things in mind. And let's also talk about the extension of the combo, because you can go past the juggle limit, rush counter limit when juggling an opponent, and that's by activating the 120% mode, Gen Agent mode, Viaza mode, whatever that you want to call it. You get unlimited juggle points when you activate. So that's something to consider. Get the maximized juggles that you can, and then activate afterwards, and you can get pretty big amount of damage doing it that way. Of course, you have to worry about walls and getting them too low to the ground, because they can air tech in those scenarios. But keep mindful, and one way to avoid that is by putting them into a stun state, which you deplete their blue gauge. Their blue gauge, you heard me right, their blue gauge. Once you deplete their blue gauge, they go into a stun state, and peep this, they take more damage when they're stunned. They take, or down stun. They take more damage, about double, about 180% more damage, double. Here. So that's when you really want to spend everything that you got out your bag. That's when you really want to let everything loose. You don't want to let the combo drop. Now in this scenario, because you might be doing an infinite to get them into that state, it's worth noting that your rush counter doesn't reset upon putting them into stun. So basically, you won't get the juggle combo if you infinite them into stun. And likewise, if you juggle them into stun, you don't get a reset. You just have to deal with the rush counter you're currently at, and you get a shortened combo. So one way to go about doing this is to do a cheeky reset and get the rush counter to reset, and then chip them into stun. That's one way to go about it, is to chip them into stun, do something real conniving, and that way you get the full juggle combo afterwards, because stun automatically puts them in a juggle airborne state. And doing this, you get the full 10 allotted juggle points to maximize your damage, and then extend it with the 120%. All the while, you're getting about double the amount of damage. Maybe you mixed in a super or two in before that, and next thing you know, you're dealing a crazy amount of damage. There's a lot of room for creativity and optimization here, and that's a really fun aspect of this game, and it is really addicting once you actually find a way to open Pandora's box and find out that there is a way to get damage in this game. is really addicting. It's like, you know, again, cracking Pandora's box. I don't even know what that means. It's like cracking an egg, and you're trying to perfectly open a boiled egg without scraping, you know, and you're constantly trying to open that eggshell, that boiled egg, without scraping the actual egg, you know, and it's kind of like that, and it's pretty addicting. So after that stun sequence, get more damage, you know, you can get up to crazy amounts of damage. Maybe you can even get TODs. It just depends on how well you can optimize it, and there's so many variables, there's so many unique situations in this game. It's so fun to move your character around, dash canceling, juggle canceling, whatever. There's a lot of room for freedom, and I really like that about this game. Let's talk about the last thing, and that is the last thing that I discovered: Unblockables. You can air guard in this game, and you're saying you can air guard, okay, well, I can just avoid the mix-up, because activating the activation mode via some gain agent, it's a heavy mix-up tool, right? Instant cancels on pretty much everything you do, and you may be thinking, like, I'll just jump in the air and avoid all of that nonsense, because I'm not going to get hit with the overhead, the low, I'm not going to deal with that, the throw, get me out of here. You can't do that in this game, because when you're airborne, yes, you can block, but you cannot block against lows. And there are a lot of lows in this game that have knockback properties and wall splat properties, and puts you in a scenario where it forces you to take a lot of blue damage if you actually get wall splatted. And you could get in a loop where they just constantly do that, and you're air teching, and maybe you press a button, because when you air tech, you're completely immune, you're completely invulnerable. But if you mash the air tech and you accidentally get a button to come out afterwards, then you're vulnerable to getting hit by that unblockable again and again and again and again. If they got you pinned against the wall, that is a bad scenario to be in, because you got to time that air tech perfectly, otherwise you're just going to be stuck in a loop. Not just that, low attacks, it goes even more fucked up, pardon my French. Specials and supers, depending on the character, also work in this way of being unblockable, depending on the character, of course. Some characters got DP, like that gangster karate chick. One of her variation weights of her DPs, down moves, can't block that in the air. Nana Owada, the fan chicks, her fan twirling things, you can't block any of the weights variations of that in the air. You also can't block her alternate super, her add-on super. You can't block that in the air. Completely unblockable. Some of these moves you can block. It depends on the spacing, how deep you are, you know, decently enough, then they can't block it. And then there's some characters who just have straight up unblockables. You just toss it out. They can't block it on the ground or in the air, depending on the weight of the move that you put in, medium, light, or heavy, depending on the character, depending on, you know, etc, etc. There are unblockables in this game, and there are that right there, that little detail right there opened up my eyes to a whole new way to play this game, because that's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. It kind of opens like a strategy of what I want to try to do here. You know, I want to pin them in the corner and get the down special normal wall splat, and then make them tech. And then some characters have supers that just hit lows, like the ballerina gymnastics chick. She also has both of her supers. Technically, you can't block airborne, because one hits low. Actually, it has 3 hits. One hits low, one hits you know, high, and I think the other one hits medium, something like that. They both hit high or something like that. And if they're airborne, it's just going to hit you low, and then you're going to get hit by the other two. So you can't block that in airborne. And her other super, you just can't block that airborne either. So you get them into the wall scenario, forcing the air tech, they accidentally hit a button, super, they can't block it. And you know, that it just creates a new dynamic of way to approach these characters. I haven't tried every character. I've tried 10 of them. Every one of them has this unblockable scenario, even if it's just having a low attack that hits pretty high. Even if they don't have any specials or supers, they still have that going for them. So it's a universal thing. You can't block lows when you're airborne, and some specials and supers have that property as well. So with that, I'll leave you all with some footage, collected footage, some combos maybe, some sequences, some yada yada yada. And I'll bid y'all further ado. May peace be with you. Always keep your heads up. Deuces, those posts, adios, stay cool. If you like this content, be sure to show some love. But always be sure to show that love to the people who matter to you. This is ITOwl bidding you farewell. Peace, much love, and stay cool. Deuces. Uh-huh. Oh, backbreaker! So I was gonna end it earlier, but you know, I discovered something else in the middle of editing the video, and I included some extra combos in there. So, as stated before, the rush count is not the combo count. There could be combos where the rush count drops that are actual combos. And then there'll be combos where the rush count, there'll be combos that aren't really combos that the rush counter still continues to count. You know, so the rush counter doesn't really say anything. It's more or less just your juggle meter, right? And you have up to 10 to make stuff happen. So here's how this works to extend the combos even further beyond, right? But because the juggle limit appears to be like 10, something happens where you're at 10 of the rush counter, and you end it with a special. End it with the special button, which I call special normals, or you end it with a special move or a super. It tends to have a different property if you land that and push it over the threshold of 10 and then activate after that, because it seems to think like you can't get anything after that. So it's like, okay, this is going to reset it naturally. I guess this is me theorizing. So you do a special move to push the rush counter over 10, and then you activate the rush counter resets for some reason. And if you're in stun, you can't air tech, you can't air recover. You know, I've never been able to do it before. I've never seen it done before. I've tried my hardest. I'm trying my hardest on one controller and I can't do it. So I think this is I think this is true. I'm not 1,000,000% sure, but like I said, I haven't seen it done once since I started playing this game. Again, you can't air tech when you're in stunned until you are in a hard knockdown state. That means your character falls down to the earth, bounces to the ground, and then lays flat, planks to the floor for like a second or two, and then they get up manually. They do a push-up. That has to happen for you to recover from stun. From my experience, that's what has to happen. So until that point, until that character gets knocked down face to the earth and then gets up, does a slow push-up, until that moment, it's free game, free combo video time. And so, like I said, there's something funky when you get to that threshold of 10 and you do out a special move or a special whatever. It allows you to extend the combo even further. It also resets the rush counter, and it also seems to reset the scaling, which is the most important part. It resets the scaling of it. So you really are getting like double damage, if not triple damage, by doing this. And as you've seen, I got a touch of depth combo, about like maybe 2 in there, and I'm sure I could get more. But yeah, this is pretty fun. Again, every time I go into training mode, I discover something new. This game is pretty tight by me. I really like this game a lot, a whole lot. I need to find out how to play this game online. How do I play this online with other people? I need this information. I need this information, y'all. This game is cool. And I hope that what I've been able to share with you showcased some untapped potential for this game. That is pretty cool, right? It's pretty cool as a spectator viewing. It's pretty cool to play, you know, and it's pretty cool to learn and, you know, press buttons. So anyways, I'm just coming at y'all with a future edit. Past Owl, you did all right by me. Catch y'all on the flip side. Much love.
Out of the ring. The human battle headed towards the victory of Juggle.